Hello and welcome to the Saturday education webinar that the Hindu conducts on various topics. Today's topic is careers and courses in logistics. Um, the recent war has brought logistics to the drawing rooms, dinner conversations in houses. So many ships stuck there in the Gulf, oil and gas. Where is it going to come? LPG shortage. The average person is feeling the pinch, and supply chain logistics. These are now dinner table conversations. Um, but I mean, even besides the war, logistics has increasingly taken precedence. It's become much more important. If by logistics we mean the movement of goods from one place to the other, and as a result, careers and courses, there have been many courses that are being offered. Many are offering 2-year programs, MBAs, and executive programs, and shorter courses for others to get into this field, which promises to be a good career, has much career prospects. And to discuss this topic, we have a panel, a very good mix of panelists that we have to enlighten us, inform us, and answer our questions. Two from the industry and two from academia. Um, we have Srinivas Krishnan. He's with the Crown Worldwide Group. We have our Vijay Rangachari, who is with Maersk Training. And we have Rahul Sindhwani, who's faculty at IMI Delhi. And we also have Babji Srinivasan, he's professor at IIT Madras. Specifically, he's with the FedEx Institute there. FedEx is this, logistics giant, and they do much research and outreach regarding logistics. So let's get the ball rolling. I will probably ask Srinivas Krishnan, who's an industry veteran of sorts, to tell us about the industry. Where is it now? Where we are going? Go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kalyan Raman and Hindu, for this opportunity. Well, logistics industry is at an inflection point. What initially was just moving goods from A to B has expanded to include technology, ethics, sustainability, and as a company which has been involved in the niche logistics services, instead of just defining customer service at the satisfaction level, we have seen the requirement going from basic to expected to desired to servicing at a level which is exceeding the expectation to what is the surprising level. Because at the end of the day, in any business, it is the customers who define whether we are successful or not. And the number of referrals that the customers give for us is dependent on how well we are successful or not. So that's how the industry has been evolving. And there has always been a blurred distinction between what is supply chain, what is logistics, and what is warehousing. And it is nice to know that logistics fits within the big supply chain arena, and anybody who wishes to take up a career has got a lot of opportunity, provided they make use of their skill levels, they keep applying knowledge, upskilling themselves, making sure that they become proficient and creative in addressing the day-to-day challenges. So that's in brief about this sector. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Srinivas. We'll come back for more, I suppose, especially when questions start coming in. I now ask Vijay Rangachari. Vijay, tell us what is changing. What are the new technologies you train people? Um, so how do you train them? What should they be trained
Yeah,
so
sure.
they're future ready? So.
Great. Thanks for that. So just to maybe give a bit of an introduction, right? I'm part of Maersk Group. Maersk, as you know, you couldn't have been in a traffic light without probably being behind a container that's got a star logo. That's usually a Maersk container. You probably see it in a lot of movies as well. When they show a terminal, you probably see a lot of the containers that are star logoed. That's actually the company that I work for. It's actually a division of that company called Maersk Training. We are a commercial training organization, and we actually work with a lot of B2B customers, by that I mean we work with a lot of different companies, not just Maersk. We deliver training for them. But we also work very interestingly as a national level partner for different countries. We are partnered with the Saudi government, with the Japanese government. In the US, we have projects in Bahrain, across the Middle East, many different countries. We are partnered to support them in workforce development, career development for people. But when we are doing all these things, we are actually working together with academia and the industry. Now, the challenge has been, especially in the industry is rapidly transforming. I think it's true for most industries that they're rapidly transforming. In fact, I would encourage most of you to look at the World Economic Forum report that actually came out in January that talks about the future of work, that talks about how work and careers are transforming. They say 40% of core skill sets that people have today, they will actually change within the next 5 years. So there's a massive transformation that's happening. What is causing this transformation? You could say there are multiple factors that are causing this transformation, right? One is technology. All of us know technology, 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 right? We talk about AI, we talk about automation, and all these things are, of course, big in this industry as well. Now, if you see, especially in terms of technology, automation, you look at terminals, many terminals that would have previously had a lot of manual labor and so forth. Now today, it's a lot of automation is happening over there. And so even when it comes to many different aspects of the logistics supply chain, you see that there is increasingly more and more automation happening. So that is a major change that is impacting us. There is also the geopolitical change that is impacting in terms of trade lanes are changing, how trade happens, trade flows are changing. How do you then manage it, right? And then in terms of what is actually the behavioral aspects that people need to understand, right? That's also changing a lot. So we were just having a short chat before the start of the session, and it was great to hear Mr. Srinivas, my fellow panelist. The one of the key things he started off by saying is, as a veteran of the industry, that he's a lifelong learner. And that's very interesting, right? And that's the key attribute that we need, because the world is constantly changing. And so how do you have this learning mindset? And that is going to be the key skill sets that people have to have to be successful, be it if you're a young graduate joining the industry, or if you're somebody who's already in the industry looking for advancement, or if you're looking to transition into a career into logistics from another industry or another sector. I think no matter where you're from and your viewpoint, I think you need to have that strong learning mindset. That being said, the advantage that's there is that there are so many opportunities and venues to learn, to join forums, to be part of different networks, be it on LinkedIn or any other forums. It's so easy to access many of them that you could tap into to figure out how to better understand the industry. So, in terms of the large industry trends, maybe to come to answer your question that you asked me at the start, I think it's really the large trend that we see is increasingly more complexity that is there in operations, and complexity is happening due to technology. Complexity is also happening due to speed at which people have to operate. So everything's just getting more faster, more efficient. If I reflect on terminals operations, many years ago a terminal could have a container ship coming in, and it could be 3 days before that ship turned around and went. I've actually been on board one of the ships that has carried containers into a terminal, and I've gone from terminal to terminal. And a typical port stay is normally 2 to 3 days. That's what it used to be. Now you're talking about a typical port stay of less than 4 hours, 3 hours sometimes. So that's a lot of time that is saved, which is important, but also that's the drive in operations, right? How can we be faster, better? And that's what's also driving a lot of the automation, the efficiency gain. So there are also other areas. The big trend then is also about how do you then manage these kind of faster turnaround times? How do you address the complexity in the operation? How do you bring in efficiency? And then you start looking at things like lean management and all these other areas that also are important in addressing it. Maybe it's a high level answer for now, but in further discussions, we can drill deep further. Thanks.
We will drill down to the details. Yes, containerization sort of revolutionized flow of goods. I mean, we talk about globalization, enabling factors, commerce, and so on. But underneath that was containerization, which really reduced port times, delays, and so many things. It transformed not just shipping, but the whole movement of goods was speeded up. We will come back to you for more details, perhaps something about what robots are doing, how is data analytics impacting, and so on. And you mentioned operations, so we now have Rahul Sindhwani, who's faculty at IMI Delhi. Tell us more how operationally the logistics system works, and what should the aspiring logistics professionals know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to Kalyan Raman and the Hindu for giving me the opportunity. Thanks, Srinivas sir and Vijayji for making a base of this webinar. The basically when we are talking about the logistic, the first thing in the most of the people when hear the word logistic, they think of the trucks and warehouses. But the real story is much bigger. Logistic is what powers our economy, right? And make it efficient, and Indian companies can compete with anyone in this world, right? And right now, if I'm talking about the expected to be increased up to the US dollar 592 billion by 2030 in the near future only. And the most important part, this sector, this logistics sector, contributing to the Indian GDP of 14.4% of our GDP. And right now, the workforce of our this in logistics sector is about 22 million, and which is projected to be 31 plus million. So why I'm giving this data? This data is going to give you a space to think about it, how much logistic is going to be increased in the near future, right? And thanks to the government projects like the PM Gati Shakti, as we know, right? And due to this PM Gati Shakti project only, we have begun the 12 to 15% reduction in corridor transit times, right? And basically, if the someone want to go in the courses of this logistics sector, we have a different option. If the someone want to go after the class 12th and he want to see their career in the logistic, the various type of the diploma is available, like the diploma in logistic and supply chain management. Nowadays, the BBA is coming with the logistic and supply chain management. The most important part is undergraduate program from the Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, right? Basically, this is a government central university and which is providing this undergraduate program. Like the CII Institute of Logistics, Chennai, and Indian Maritime University, especially the IIM Mumbai. This is a premium institute, and that is a legacy of excellence in operations, logistic, and industrial engineering. I'm going to talk about the IMI Delhi also. They are also providing the specialization in operation management, and where we are taking care of the specialization of the supply chain management and logistic also. So these are the different option right now in the front of the student who want to go with the this logistics sector. And the most important part is that sometimes we are busy in our industry, in our job, and the someone we want to go with the certification also. Nowadays, the various online certifications are also available. If I'm talking about the one certification, that is the APICS, that is basically the American Production and Inventory Control Society, right? And that is coming under our the Association of Supply Chain Management. They are giving the three certificates basically, and the most important part of these certification is these are the highly valued by the Indian and multinational employers. These certification are the CSCP, Certified Supply Chain Professional. Second one is certified in planning and inventory management, and the third one is certified in logistic transportation and distribution. The good news is that the all those three certification are completely online friendly today. So a working professional in a tier 2 city in India has the same access as someone in the Delhi or Mumbai. So these are the something which I want to share with you. And also in the career perspective, the various roles nowadays are available for the entry level roles, mid career roles, in the new age roles. If I'm talking about the new age roles, these are basically the predictive logistic operation manager, in which the AI to forecast the delay, flag the risk earlier. Like the another role is coming nowadays, is coming up as a supply chain agent manager, AI compliance officer, robot manager. So these are the roles right now in the logistics sector is coming out. So that is all from my side.
Very, very practical, succinct. Thanks, Rahul. It was quite enlightening. We will probably talk a little more about the short courses as well. Maybe we'll see some questions on that. I suppose IIT Madras is planning a BS course in logistics. Professor Srinivasan was telling us. Tell us more, sir. How is IIT looking at this? What is IIT's role in this?
Yeah, so at IIT we have already a smart center which is focused on logistics, supported by FedEx for about close to $10 million for about 5 years now. I mean, 5 years. It's been third year now, and we have been training, FedEx employees as well as our logistics personnel in various domains, especially in the domain of AI and ML for logistics sector. And we are also planning to have a PG diploma program in logistics and manufacturing analytics, where we cover all the current cutting edge technologies in logistics industries. For instance, we do a lot of agentic AI projects with FedEx and others, where we talk about how to address situations like COVID. What if conditions? Can we simulate what if conditions if there is a natural calamity or disaster, to understand how logistics should be, I mean, how various elements of the logistics industry should be made robust, at the same time efficient. Usually there is a robustness efficiency trade-off in these industries, and in most of the industries, and that's where we want to look at. And then we also work on projects where we actually completely redo their entire applications, apps of the entire companies, using agentic AI framework, for especially for logistics industries. So these are some of the things we do, apart from several short courses. Right now, we have a short course open right now until May 30th, where we teach advanced data science and analytics to logistics professionals. It's a open in IITM code website, Center for Continuous Education Program, where it's right now open, and people have been registering. So that's a brief about what we do in logistics. Yeah.
Okay, let me flash a question. Jack Moses, logistics is a subset of supply chain. My kind question is AI's role in supply chain involving robotics, GPS, and ERP. Anyone can take this.
Let me take a dig at it.
Or all of you.
Fine. Well, today we can't avoid AI in any industry, and all the more so in the logistics business, because the cycle times have become shorter and customers have started getting hyper demanding. In this role, what is happening is we have to look at two acronyms, if I'm permitted to say. The first acronym is scale, which is you need to ensure that you're able to leverage on the external resources. And scale stands for staff on demand, community and crowd, algorithms, leverage assets, and engagement. And in this acronym, algorithm is where AI is going to be heavily in demand. And we've got some specialized training modules from Maersk, and we've got some separate divisions funded by FedEx for ensuring that we are able to make route optimization and a lot more with data. So we have to ensure that as it keeps evolving, we find ways and means of applying AI in the logistics business. It could be for route optimization, it could be for ensuring that the bullwhip effect of the variability is predictable and we are able to manage the complexity. I would rather, bleed Vijay and professors to elaborate further on this. Thanks.
Thanks. rather than maybe the use case, I'll focus a bit on, where we are working to support accelerating the learning that people need to do. Sometimes technology is also not about, like, I'll give you an example on how we are accelerating the learning to get people in different markets, let's say emerging markets, to actually get to start their work sooner and more safely and more efficiently. One of the things we're doing is actually using VR to actually train people. And in VR, we are actually introducing AI to help train people. So it becomes a scalable solution. You can train people at their pace, individualized training to help them, get their specific needs met in terms of their gaps that they have in skill sets, and address it on an individual level to then bring up everybody to speed. The interesting thing is, at Musk, there was a team of people who went down to Japan, to the Toyota factory, to see how are they really driving their lean management, and how are they really driving efficiencies in their manufacturing, because they actually have a demand to drive cost efficiency year on year. The first few years you can drive it, but the subsequent years become harder and harder in how do you drive efficiency into your operations, into your activities. So one of the things that they started doing was actually using VR. And all of us will know that VR has been around for a very long time. But the interest in this tool is not because it's something new. It's because it's actually been around for a longer time. It's a scalable solution, and they're actually using that to actually help people learn faster and drive efficiency into it, right? So technology and how you use it can come in various modes. There are a lot of technology being used also around safety of operations, visibility of operations. How do you have every activity of the entire supply chain mapped into, you actually having visibility on where exactly in the supply chain is something, right? Like you talked about the bullwhip effect, and how do we create visibility for it? That's where these things technology can also be used to support that. But I think I'll leave it to the other panels to add more
Yeah.
light on that.
Yes, I would like to add in this. Basically, if we are talking about the AI in supply chain, that has been implemented in three generations. The first generation, when we are talking about the AI, predictive AI, right, means the from 2015 to 20. In that perspective, we are using that AI for the demand forecasting, route optimization, predictive maintenance. That was the generation one. And the second generation is the generative AI. When we are talking about the auto-generated supplier contracts, customer service chatbots, AI produces the content for human to use from the 2022 to 2024, right? And the now at present, the generation three, that is a agentic AI, in which AI agents that basically the book the loads, vet the carrier, handle the exceptions also, right? And also AI makes and execute the decision within the guardrails. So that is the in that way this agentic AI or the AI has been implemented in the industry in these three generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To add further, AI has been used in various sectors of logistics industry as a whole, starting from manufacturing, and then storage, as well as shipping, and then to the last mile delivery. So last mile delivery is where you will today see a lot of drone applications, AI along with drones. And then if you look at warehouse today, manpower safety, enhancing safety as well. Today, IoT and AI plays an important role in kind of GPS you talked about, where you can also be people use it for safety aspects as well, to actually position know the location of the trucks, and then kind of come up with guardrails, so that when a vehicle moves, how to prevent accidents within a warehouse. And then, as Rahul pointed out, it has been used in automatic preparation of container lists, etc. So it's very difficult to separate today AI from logistics industry. It has been completely, it has impacted every operation of logistics industry, I would say. Thank you.
One more thing I wish to add is normally AI is treated as an optimization tool. However, we see increasingly that AI will be part of our service delivery system. It will be used to generate demand, it will be used to be part of the overall logistics process. So from being task, it will be part of a system driven process. So as AI, agentic AI and other technologies keeps advancing, we'll increasingly see that it will be the AI generated calls that will go to the customer. There will be AI customers with whom we should be interacting, and this area is going to just keep evolving as customers get more and more demanding, and there's a need for reducing the cycle time in the overall delivery process.
Maybe we will come back to robotics also maybe a little later. I will, maybe it's time to walk back a little and pose a more fundamental question. Abhishek Gali. He's asking, good evening to all honorable speakers today. Could we get a list of best colleges courses to pursue careers in supply chain? Do we have any courses which can be done via correspondence? Also, for mid senior professionals who want to return to a career in supply chain, what could be some certificate courses to pursue? Thank you for your patience and thank. I think Professor Rahul Sindwani did talk about it, but go ahead, give a lot more details. He's asking for the best courses. I suppose, I don't know if you want to say your
Yeah.
institution is one, but you don't have to answer
Yes.
that part. But do tell us about in detail. Let's say what do you study in a two year program like an MBA in logistics and supply chain management versus some of these short term courses. Um, what do people get out of them?
Yes. In this, basically in our India right now, there are the various logistic institutions are available. Like if I'm talking about again the CII Institute of Logistics, Chennai, Indian Maritime University, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, and the various IIMs are also providing the specialization in this area only, right? And these are the basically the courses in which they are going to get about the logistic in the detail of the means the right now how the agentic AI or the how the generative AI is changing the scenario, how the e-commerce and q-commerce companies are using this agentic AI or the generative AI, what are the courses they required for it, all those things are going to be covered in this certification. And also if there's a mid-level career is if the someone is in the mid-level career and now he want to shift towards this logistics sector, then they can think about the certification also, as I have discussed the CSCP certification, CPIM certification, CLTD certification. All are the online certification. The MERS training certification is also available, and the Six Sigma Green Belt, Black Belt, and CILT, that is the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, that is a UK based but strong in India. So these are the courses in which the someone can apply and think about their careers in the logistics.
Others would you like to add to Abhishek's question?
I think Abhishek pointed out there are courses in Gadi Shakti Vidyalaya for a longer duration for mid professionals. Certification courses. If you are looking at, the courses from IIT Madras or whatever is logistics is all online. So one could take the courses online without, of course there will be an entrance exam, but then after that it's an online courses and PG diploma. And then there are short courses conducted by the various centers in IIT Madras for logistics professionals, where it is a certification course teaching specific aspects of logistics like A in logistics or supply chain analytics, etc. So that's also being done. And there is also a center at IIT Bombay called Alpha, established again by FedEx, where they also run certification courses for FedEx and other logistics who are interested in logistics companies. They also run courses in supply chain and then last mile delivery, speed of courses from IIT Bombay as well.
You were talking about a BS in logistics that IIT Madras is planning.
We are starting with PG diploma and then we'll convert it into BS because we wanted to test the waters with PG diploma and then see what is the interest. So PG diploma in logistics is what we are planning. Currently, PG diploma in manufacturing analytics is approved. So should be shortly opening.
So that's for those who've done their graduation, who've done a undergrad
Yes,
degree.
yes, yes. Especially for
Okay.
mid professionals, yeah, who are looking at.
Okay. Will it be all online or hybrid or?
No, it's mostly online, and I know towards the end, students are asked to come over for a few sessions, but otherwise it's online.
Okay. Okay. We'll move on as I have more questions. Amrish Dubey. India is an economy where a lot of external factors play an important role in logistics and supply chain management and movement of goods. While tech infusion is the way ahead, any suggested measures to handle the external factors concerning the SCM?
Well, as I said, as we keep scaling up the business, the complexities are going to increase. So we need to scale up the business. We need to take advantage of the emerging ecosystem. And that includes ensuring that beyond a certain level, we start using staff on an outsourced basis called staff on hire. Instead of buying assets and keeping it in your books, you can make sure that you can lease the assets on a temporary basis to ensure that we are able to meet up with the demand. And then there are many companies who are there to lease the assets for you. And we need to ensure that we are always on the lookout for what is available in the market. When it comes to engagement, yeah, we can always look for suppliers who are ready to provide you the necessary service instead of owning them. So this is an ever increasing field. There is no one set pattern. And as Mr. Vijay was telling, we need to be a learning organization to continuously be on the lookout for what is in store to meet up with the challenges. And that's the way to handle it. It's an evolving one, and there is no fixed way of handling it. Over to Vijay to elaborate if there is anything further.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key, right? I mean, one of the things is, there's this whole concept called resilient uh, mindset. I think that's the key to develop, right? I think even as at a national level or an individual level, at an organizational level, that is the key thing that you want to develop. When we talk about supply chain resilience, it's about how do you not get bogged down by a critical supply being from just one person or whatever, right? How do you be more adaptable? So the same thing is also with regards to the mindset. How do you have this approach where you you actually can adapt to all the changes that are happening, because the changes can come thick and fast, and what you thought was a given. I'm actually based here in Dubai. I mean, I would have never imagined that the Jebel Ali port could actually get closed down, shut down completely with no transport happening, right? So things can change dramatically. So how are you then going to manage in the face of such situation, right? So I think focusing on both the mindset, but also addressing the vulnerability in actually the operations is the key.
Yes, in fact, the war, what happened to Jebel Ali, brought home the fact that the Persian Gulf region is not just oil and gas. Jebel Ali is a huge transshipment. All kinds of goods go there and then move somewhere else. So the importance of the region beyond fossil fuels, that really was fleshed out by the current crisis, I suppose. Amjad Siddiqui, he's asking, I think I'll probably try and explain. He's asking, is it possible to make some projects on the East Coast? What news comes from most of them is on the Western Coast. Is it true that India is logistically better off, the Western Coast is better off than the East Coast? Is it better connected? Is movement of goods easier on the West Coast compared to the East Coast? I think that's what he's asking.
I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but at least out of my general interest, when I've read some articles around this, I think at the end of the day, logistics goes where the flow is easier, right? Just like water flows to wherever it's easier for it to flow. I think the easier the as if it's if you don't have bureaucratic hurdles, if you don't have if there are multiple channels for you to move it, be it transportation on road, good infrastructure, rail transportation, port infrastructure, and hub, then obviously that will develop, right? I mean, traditionally, because of Mumbai being the business hub, if I can say that, of India, I think a lot has happened on that front, but. On the eastern front, it's the once the infrastructure comes, it's a classic chicken or egg story, right? What comes first? Does the I think invariably the overwhelming, at least in my opinion, the where it what it favors is that once you build the infrastructure, I think things will start happening, right? I mean, from my own experience, having lived a few years here in UAE, I think the model of once you build, they will come, I think is true. Once more infrastructure gets built on the eastern side of India, it's easier for goods to move in and out, flow all over without bottlenecks. Then I think you will see that also will start developing. So I think it's a question of you know just the right infrastructure being in place for that to also happen.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to add something here. Yes, Amjad, you are very correct. But the picture right now is the major projects are already underway in the eastern side, like the Vizhinjam International Transshipment Port in Kerala, the Vadavan port being developed, the modernization of Vishakhapatnam, Paradip, and Chennai ports. So these are in the underway. And the second important point is the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor, which is going to connect the Eastern Industrial Belt, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, and West Bengal directly to ports, and that is dramatically improving cargo movement. So yes, Samjad, the Eastern Coast development is not just possible; it's actively happening. In fact, I would argue the next decade will see the eastern coast become as the logistically critical as the west, especially with India deepening trade ties with the Indo-Pacific region. So the future of India logistics is no longer just westward facing; it is a bi-coastal.
Excellent point. Would anyone else like to add, or we move on? Questions. Okay, Bala K. He's asking, good evening, everyone. As a data analyst in supply chain finance, I'm looking to transition from a desk-based IT role into a more direct business-facing operations role. Beyond data expertise, what specific certifications or core business courses would you recommend to bridge the gap into real-world supply chain management?
Well, if someone is looking to go on a business facing operations role, they need to be ensuring that they are the front face of the company. So they need to have clarity on communication and making sure that they are there to render customer service of the order of magnitude, which moves basically from expected to desired to surprising to unbelievable level. So their success rate keeps evolving as the customer keeps demanding more and more. So that is a very generic reply to anyone who is looking to advance to a business facing operations role. Apart from ensuring that they improve their expertise in analytics, we've got experts in professors who will give more details about it. And they just keep evolving about the ongoing challenges. Over to you, professors.
Yes. So my answer for this question is you need to go with the first certified in core SCM, right? Start with the API CS CSCP certification, then build the operation fluency with the help of Six Sigma Green Belt, and then third gain the real exposure. So that these three steps you need to follow from my side.
And if you're
Yeah, I
looking at
think
Lean Six Sigma, you just need to move from yellow belt to green belt to black belt as you keep evolving in that role, because every additional color keeps asking you for more involvement in the intricacies of business, being more creative and finding more ways to reduce the cycle time and add value to the business. Thanks.
Yes.
Excellent answers. We dealt with the practical aspects as well as the change in mindset, as Srinivas Krishnan was saying. Karishma Setu. Good evening, everyone. My question is that if you were a college student entering logistics in 2026, what would be your roadmap to build a successful career? She's a budding logistics professional.
Okay.
And if I can go on this one at a high level, I would say focus on two things, right? I've been trying to support an organization that is trying to, address sometimes what exists as a gap between academia and the industry in terms of where the gap is in people getting gainful employment, right? And the thing that overwhelmingly comes over and over again, the feedback is consistently you have to work both on the knowledge side of things, your skill sets, your knowledge, which you've heard a lot of feedback on, what are the courses to take and all that. That's one side of thing, and the other one is of course the the behavioral attributes, as they're called, right? Which is, having the constant learning mindset, going out of your way to understand the big picture. What do I mean by big picture? Everything from what is happening in the economy, what are the things that is impacting the industry, what are the large trends that are happening, having a view on it, understanding it, being part of networks. And it's easy to find all these networks, right? Whether they're virtual or online, or physical network sessions that might be there. Just being part of these industry networks, attending them, listening to what people are talking about as the real world challenges, I think all that will help you. So having that learning mindset and is super critical, along with that strong knowledge base, and also the ability to understand the big picture, right? And also focusing on those things, like how do you communicate effectively, how do you convey your ideas more powerfully. I think all these things will also help you in building a successful career.
Well, my
Andres,
view is there are three areas to get into in logistics. You can be part of the logistics team in a manufacturing company, or you can be part of the logistics service providers team and be taking training on end-to-end logistics while making sure that you keep evolving, as Vijay said, having a growth mindset while taking up courses. Or you can be part of a management consulting team where they would be advising logistics service providers or companies on making sure that there is a continuous improvement in logistics. So you can take one of the three roles and build upon it as you gain experience.
Yes. From academia side, if just think, I'm just thinking if I'm going to enter in the logistic as a college student in 2026, then what I will do. The first one, at the year first, I will build my strong foundation, right? In the strong foundation means in the field of the operation management, statistics, and Excel. In the second year, I will try to add a digital layer. Digital layer means I will try to learn the SQL, Python basics, and Power BI, right? And these are the courses which are readily available in the Coursera website and the MIT MicroMaster module. You can take it for these digital layer. In the third year, I will go with the industry exposure, whether it's the unpaid one even, right? Whether it's a delivery, Amazon, or any manufacturing firm. And also in that industry exposure, with industry exposure, I will try to take a live project also, and try to do one level certification. And in the last year, I will try to specialization in the area which I will like, means the sustainability or the AI in supply chain management or the last mile procurement. So I will choose my specialization in the fourth year. So in that way, I will prepare myself.
Yeah, to add further, the other thing is if you are getting into is after first year. First year you need to know the basics, but after first year you could start looking for projects, specifically small projects in logistics domain, working with faculties that would give you a flavor of what is happening in the industry, and there is where we could actually pick up what do you like in the logistics sector as a whole, which area to focus on. So hands-on projects is one thing that I would recommend that would help you actually develop, certain skill sets required for the logistics industry. Yeah.
I suppose Karishma got some good advice, good guidance. Sri Nihar Sigireddy. Hi, sir. I'm a working professional currently working as a logistics trainee at Next Power Hyderabad. What are the AI skills I should learn and develop my career? And which mode of logistics sector will have major growth in future years? She's looking for the most lucrative subsection in logistics. Which one's that?
Okay. Okay, let me go ahead. So, with
Okay.
respect to with respect to AI, see, I would say data science has become an enabler today. It's not just in the logistics domain; it's cuts across domains. I've been teaching about 7,000 plus professionals now in the past 4 years, apart from my regular teaching at IIT Madras. So, what I have learned is it cuts across domain. I have had CMD of Aditya Birla sit through. I've had several CTOs sit through. It's an enabler. So rather than focusing on AI as a specialization, you should see AI as a tool, and then see cutting edge technologies, especially like agentic AIs, which is for real coming up, is where you should have that tool in your basket. And of course, I keep saying, it's very hard to, at least for me, to visualize humans being replaced by AI or the domain experts being replaced, right? And to be simply put in, our brain works at around 35 watts compared to what chat gpt or anything could work at, the power consumption. So having said that, it's important to have a subject become a subject matter expertise with these tools, and that is where, a right balance, if you could achieve, that's the way to go ahead. I mean, that's what I see in everybody, in professionals, many of them who take courses. They see that they want the right balance so that they could excel in their domain. Yeah.
Uh, Let me throw another analogy. See, we have seen these technologies evolving over the last decade or so. First, it was internet, then it was smartphone, then it was cloud, now it is AI. This is going to continue to evolve. So instead of looking at a particular technological skill, it is the ability to see the overall system. Yeah, because if you want to have some vision of what you want to become in life, you work backwards and look at the strengths you need to develop in pursuit of that vision. And then it could be AI, it could be AI agentic, and we don't know what is going to come tomorrow. So, as Professor said, instead of looking at a particular technology, you look at the overall stream of system. Just to give an example, 30 years back, 40 years back, typing was a big skill, right? But what happened? WordPerfect came and removed the job of a typist. While the task of typing still remains, the job of a typist is no more there. Yeah. But if you see today, we type more than what anybody else was doing. So the overall stream of systems have evolved whereby the job of a typist is no more there, but the typing still continues. And that's true of any particular business or tasks that we are looking for. So instead of looking at a particular skill like AI, I think I would say look at the overall stream in which the whole logistics sector is flowing and try to be part of the bigger system so that you don't get outdated because of a particular skill that you have gained. Hopefully, this helps you.
I suppose so. Okay, S. Ram. Good evening, everyone. Actually, I applied in MSME Hackathon 2023, got selected to second stage, but couldn't make it to the final list as I didn't have my blueprint ready and also the pilot project. Okay, now what he's explaining his idea. My idea was connecting vehicle owners to companies or customers who want to transport their goods. This model is being followed in small scale as transport officers are running. I wanted to organize it, make it profitable, convenient, and reducing the waiting period of trucks to get return. Okay, what is your question, Ram? Okay. I still wish to do. Okay, he's posted again. I still wish to do it, but couldn't get right direction and capital, confidence, and expertise needed to do it. Any advice to Ram?
Yes, I would like to add something there. Firstly, you need to niche down. Don't try to compete head on with the black buck. Pick a specific segment, whether the cold chain trucks, agriculture produce, whatever you want to do. Second, what you need to do, you need to create a MVP, like the minimum viable product. Start with a simple WhatsApp based system. Third, find a co-founder with tech skills if you don't have one. The fourth, apply to incubator. That is an important part. You need to try to implement to the incubator, like the various incubators options are available in our India, like the IM Bangalore. They have the incubation system of the NSRCEL, IM Ahmedabad, CIIE, and the one more is there in the Hyderabad. That is a T hub, I think so. So you can apply for the funding, mentorship, and validation. From there only you are going to get a path to prove your idea. So that is from my side.
Yeah. To add further, see, there are these programs offered across domain, across country. I mean, one of them I know of is the IIT Madras is a program from a center called the GDC Gopal Krishna Deshpande Center, which actually trains startups or those who have an idea. Okay, so towards it's a rigorous 8 to 12 weeks program where people from across the country apply, and then they actually get trained on their ideas and then how to take it to market, what is the sharpen their ideas, come up with an MVP, etc. And not only that, as a part of this FedEx Center, at IITM, we are specifically right now focusing on only on logistics companies for that. So we are conducting a separate cohort where we are taking in ideas all over the country and then training them for about 10 weeks. I'm not sure the number of weeks. After which we are also providing funds for the first three winners or the first three best ideas, which we are supporting, which we are promised to support more than about 20 lakhs each. So that's what these kind of programs do exist. I know of it in IITM because I know we were running this, but I'm sure, similar programs run in IIT Bombay as well. So you need to look out for these kind of calls. That specifically people do for logistics sector as well. Hello.
Excellent. I hope Ram got some help. Amol Kilnani is again asking, degrees help to an extent, but more importantly, it's the skills that matter much more. Can you please mention what's such upskilling in this greenfield opportunity? What skills? I think we've covered skills. Several of them have been mentioned, but is there anything to add?
I think lean management was highlighted. Then obviously the people skill part, that part is also something people can continue to work on. Everything from communication skills. How do you get, like we just heard, there are these opportunities to build on your idea if you want to be an entrepreneur, but part of that skill set is also getting your idea uh, across, and how you get it across. So I think those are, I think, the skill sets that he's looking for. I don't know if anybody wants to add more to that.
Well, as you said, Vijay, initially, having a learning mindset is the basic skill. You need to have that curiosity to crack challenges and find creative solutions for problem, being within the realm of ethics, and making sure that you get to that habit of always being curious and finding solutions to upcoming problem, for which there is no other course except for strengthening your mind and continuously having that internal empire built about how we always continue to do that. Is while courses can help you go up to a certain level, beyond a certain point, it will be the people skills, the curiosity, and the learning mindset. That's the overall arm of how we want to continue to grow.
Okay. Pranav Badola, how much supply chain logistics depends or get affected by the gatekeeping of critical profitable information? Can you please help in giving a few cases regarding this, and what is the broader scope for building technical resilience in these terms?
Get your question.
Anyone can go.
I'm also
Can you
trying to
come with the
understand,
question again?
right? So
Okay, I'll
Question
read it
is not
again.
the
How much
plan.
supply chain logistics depends or get affected by the gatekeeping of critical profitable information? Can you please
is
help
it
in giving cases
is,
regarding
is
this?
Is it the question regarding more like how much of an impact proprietary information is in terms of like for example, if you take Apple and how they have an ecosystem that is kind of almost closed in how they operate. I mean, I don't know whether logistics it's I can imagine certain parts of the supply chain. Of course there are proprietary information, but if you look at logistics as such, I don't know whether it's so much about the proprietary information as just ability to execute, right? I think that in itself, the knowledge of how you then execute effectively, efficiently, consistently, create the right visibility, ability to access capital, invest in technologies, implement technologies, all that can be, of course, a key differentiator. But I don't know from a corporate perspective. At least I've been working in a logistics company for a couple of decades now. I don't, at least in my own personal context, I can't think of that many specific proprietary information that probably keep out competition or whatever. It's much more about the ability to execute, the ability to make the right investment, and being in the right place, right time. That sort of helps you succeed. I don't know whether somebody else has a different perspective.
Yes, Pranav, you are right. Um at this stage, this information gatekeeping is the one of the biggest hidden risks today. Right? If I'm able to guess right, there was the first was the semiconductor crisis of 2021 and 22. Like the auto manufacturers, like the Toyota and Volkswagen, lost billions because of their tier two and tier two suppliers. They have hidden the capacity constraints. And the second constraint which I am able to catch is the Boeing 737 Max digester. And that in if you are taking the daily examples of the Indian companies, even they are the supplier do not share the true lead time, manufacturer do not share the true demand, and the this is a great problem right now, right? So yeah, you are right. This uh, information gatekeeping is the one of the biggest hidden risk today.
Interesting question. Avinash Kuthum is asking, sir, today logistics courses are mostly theory oriented, whereas actual industry operations involve customs compliance, vessel coordination, port operations, client handling, emergency decision making, and real time execution pressure, things that they don't teach in colleges and courses. That's what he's saying. How can students bridge this gap and become industry ready from day one?
Maybe it's an area that we work with a little bit, so I can answer that. You
Do you
know,
do simulations? Do you simulate these
Yes, with a
situations?
lot of the simulation, we actually do a lot with the VR as well. We actually have a interesting case story right now in India where we've actually taken a maritime incident and actually used it as a court case room in AI where students who are learning can actually go argue the case on with the AI model, and so you can argue a case against an AI opposing lawyer and then see if you can win or not, and you get actually evaluated not just on your ability to understand the facts, which is the knowledge part of it, but also the ability in your ability to actually communicate your idea effectively, in where you're able to persuade people into taking on board what you had. So we've also implemented VR, for example, to help accelerate learning in different markets around the world, where we're actually helping them actually, get oriented to, for example, a container terminal, orient them to, what are the safety procedures, orient them to, what are the key things you need to do to, skill sets you need to learn. So you actually do it on the VR to kind of learn before you actually join an organization. So in a lot of ways, giving you a first-hand experience of what happens, before you go on board. We also, for example, all the mariners who are actually going on board the vessels, even when they're in their college getting educated, again we have these VR modules which are actually helping them learn, what it is to actually be on board a ship. What is it? What are the key things they need to watch out for? What do they need to learn? What are the things they need to operate? Of course, with with the different models, you can also actually deep dive into what are the equipments, what is inside it, what happens if I do A or B or something goes wrong. So how do I deal with crisis if there is a fire or an emergency situation? How do we handle it? All these things you can kind of experience it. And you're right, absolutely right. There's a world of difference between learning it and in kind of, in some sense, theory mode, and then actually trying your hand at it, right? Because you build a stronger muscle memory with how you do it. We also actually had some really strong experience working, for example, with oil and gas company, where before they go for drilling, we actually simulate what they're actually going to experience when they drill. And for example, working with some really large operators, normally they take 120 days before they actually find oil in some difficult places. Now we've actually cut down almost 30 days of the time because people have actually tried doing it in a simulation environment before they actually go do it in the real world. So you can actually, kind of get people close to reality by using many of the tools and technologies we have now. So that's one way to address it.
Okay, can the professors also address this question? Is it all theory training, and whereas in practice it's something else? How do you deal with pesky
Usually
customs
what we
agent?
do is, yeah, usually what we do is, like, at every we have industry, seminars and teachings from industrial participants, I mean industrial experts. Along with the, as I said earlier, the key is to do some of the projects there. I mean, you know that's something which we have been doing for a long time, and especially in with with the the center, like logistics center from by FedEx, we actually send our students there. So many of our students, IIT Madras students, are now interns at FedEx, where they work on real world problems. Whatever they have learned, they could try their hands and then solve a real world problem. So that's where I think a handshake could happen, where we start having students do hands-on or projects with the industries. So that's always the case in most of the domains, and that's what we try to bridge the gap.
Okay, Rahul.
Yes. For bridging this gap, we have three options, right? The first option is we have to tie up with the industry, right? The academia and industry need to come together and to solve the problem for the industry, and then only we can give the live and experience to the students. The second is, as in the management institute in each IM and the good institutes already, they are teaching with a case-based study, right? Not the teaching in from the books. We are teaching only the case-based study. And the third, the simulation tools. So these are the three keys with the help of which we can remove this gap.
Okay. We have some small questions coming up. Is there so at UG level there is no logistics course, so everything is after graduation, right? Or
No, no,
are
yes,
there?
there are.
There are.
I think some courses are there. Some courses are there, like the Tech Mahindra Smart Academy for Logistics. That is in the Hyderabad only, and they are providing the 3 to 6 month courses. And the one more which I'm able to catch, that is the Times Pro Hyderabad. They are also providing the SWOT certification in logistics, so he can do these type of courses after the class 12.
Okay. Someone has a question about beneficial for warehouse operations. Jonathan J. Warehouse operations. Are there any dedicated courses? Can't think of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Operations.
Anything? Okay. So we did
Specifically
field
for
all
warehouse
questions.
operations,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Specifically for warehouse operations, I don't think of. I mean, there are courses on supply chain and then where these operations are covered, but not specific. I couldn't
No.
think of something.
All right. Okay, so we have covered pretty much most of the questions. It's been a wonderful, eye-opening, enlightening, informative sessions. I thank all the panelists for joining us and also participants for asking very insightful questions. Thank you. Till we meet again next Saturday at the same time for another education webinar.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.